some of those things, and then we can, this kind of informs where we do put development, so where we can develop. Because we have to be able to give them those types of trade-offs. We have to give them choices. So we can work with them to develop those list of choices. So the public participation, talking to Jeff, we can do the public participation. Right now, the planning department has a very just minimal plan of maybe having groups come in and make presentations, and then one day, and then you can have the developers come in and make their presentations one day. That doesn't work. But it's the same thing again. You know, here's my pictures, here's their pictures. To these 25 people, what do we know? We don't have any better wisdom than any of you guys. How about the developers and you guys get together and do more of an open process? And whether you want to call it charrettes or you want to call it whatever you want to call it, it's a hands-on. It actually looks at maps. It actually lets people bring up whatever they want to brainstorm. Well, I want a frisbee course over here or whatever it is. That you can start to then just map these things out, put them down on a map, and then you have something you can discuss. It's not just the ideas about it, but actual reality, that you're putting this down in a way that people can actually make sense of and start looking at what trade-offs you need to make. Just get into the actual creating it. And Jeff said, that's fine. We don't have to be constrained by the public participation process that they may or may not come up with, because they're not. They just don't really have a plan for it right now. So we can do it. And he says, that's great, that's fine. I talked to this mayor of Pasadena. Pasadena is a small town, city on the mainland. There's 150,000 people in that city. We have 150,000 people on our island. Getting their new general plan together, he said the one thing he wanted to do was get thousands and thousands of people involved. And they looked at him and said, right, thousands, right. He said, no, I'm the mayor, thousands and thousands. He said, well, it's going to take a lot of effort. He says, you know what? No, thousands and thousands. So they did. They went out and they developed a process that went into churches, went into schools, developed all kinds of ways that people could write on a map, or they could put lists of things that they wanted to see, and they involved over 4,000 people as part of their general. And he says, by the end of that process, it was on every public access station, it was on the radio, it was in the newspaper. I mean, you could not escape it. You could not escape it. And by the end of that year, when they had to come up with a new plan by court order, everybody was there supporting it, because they all had a hand in making it made. So that's the goal. Because if we really do want to see a plan that not only reflects what we want, but is actually going to be implemented, we've got to get the political will to make sure that it is. That they get the CIP projects that actually build the things that we want in there. And the only way we're going to get that political will is if everybody's supporting it. That's the only way you get political will. That's all they listen to, those numbers. And if we work with the developers, we've got everybody. So that's what we can do. That's coming up shortly. And I would work with you to go and meet with them and say, yes, let's sit down, let's create that system that actually allows for public participation. The second one is Maui Can. I'm joining with the Maui Citizens for, I can't remember. It's Maui Citizens for Democracy in Action. And what they are doing is they actually ran a petition drive last year to put a marijuana initiative on the ballot here in Maui County. We're one of the only counties in the state to have an initiative, which is the ability for us to pass laws ourselves if the council won't pass them and we can't get it any other way. So they just recently made it easier, not much easier, but easier to get 180 days. You need to come up with 7,000 signatures for your initiative. So their goal is by the 08 elections that we register to vote 10,000 new voters. Now, that's when I heard about the totals that you guys, those signatures, if all those signatures were new voters, you would be an unstoppable force. Maui has the lowest voter turnout in the state. The state has the lowest voter turnout in the nation. We're number one. So if we get 20,000 voters. That is a block that nobody can ignore. Nobody. Not a governor, a mayor, or anybody. If you're talking about worldwide attention, that will do it. Because it's not just a signature on a piece of paper, it's a voter. So that's where you're going to get your power. And I'd be happy to partner up with you, because we're going to launch this within the next week, where we're going to announce it. Actually, this coming up week, I was going to tell you about the next, that's another thing coming up, okay? Initiative. Now, we're going to be doing an initiative drive, not only for trying to get it so you get family farms to grow the medical marijuana that people need but can't get. So we want to get it so people can get it through family farms. So they basically give their ability to get it. Family farm grows it for them, and they just pay them, not for that, but it's like being part of a co-op. So it gets beyond so it's a whole plan. But we're going to try to get it first to the ledge of people of democracy that we have yet to use. The two other things that we hope that you guys would support, that I hope to get put on the initiative ballot for the OA elections. Number one, because I think it's going to really help you guys too. Number one is district voting here on Maui. Right now we're at the at-large system. That means everybody votes for everybody. That means nobody is accountable. That means that each council member has to get 17 to 25,000 votes to get onto the council. So that means you lose track of who you're voting for. Because everybody, basically you're talking Wailuku and Kahului, elects all of our council. You don't, Lahaina doesn't have a say, Kihei, Unagi, Molokai, it's Kahului and Wailuku. That's where all the votes are. And they're the ones who elect our council. We have to go to district voting. That's what they've proven over and over again all over the country, is what increases voter actual representation. When San Francisco went to district voting, that's when they elected Harvey Milk. So it was a major shift in their being able to get represented. And it's shown that at-large voting just disenfranchises everybody. Mostly minorities, but just everybody. I got elected with 3,000 votes. That's the total. On the council, you get 25,000. This is statewide, this is countywide. It doesn't make sense. So we have to go to district voting, and we need to do that very shortly. It's going to be tough because it's the power that they're going to have to give up. The other thing that we need to get put into place, town governments. We are the only state in the union not to have town governments. I can't believe it. You stop at the county level. Everywhere else in America, the town hall, the basic building block of democracy, is who you can vote for. We could have our own town council right here in Lahaina. Kihei could have its own town council. We can make decisions for ourselves. It's evolving. It's evolving the decisions down from the state, down from the county, down to the most local level. Because at those levels, you can't understand that whole process. The state, I couldn't even understand